Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special show here on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show title is Coexistence and Sustainability. And you're like, what? What happened to Pet Psychic AMINAH? Well, she's the star of our show. We just changed the title to make it more appropriate for all of the subjects that we cover here today. And what she doesn't know is it's our 124th episode together, which to me, it means that we've been together for 2 years. Woo! Amazing. So let's welcome her to our show. Our topic is growing our own food, how we can raise healthy pets. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Where else would I be on a happy sunny Friday?
So it's amazing how we have evolved, how the program has evolved over the last 2 years. Before we dive into our topic today, what are some takeaways that you have? Because you didn't even know I was going to mention this today, but what comes to mind when you think about the journey we've been on for these last 2 years?
It has been more than I think both of us could have dreamed. All the growth that the channel has taken, and the growth and the professionality, is that a word? I'm going to make it a word. And all of the things I know I have learned from the other hosts that you have co-hosted with you is so much I've learned about myself. I've been a public speaker. My very first public speaking, it was when I was 9. So I've really, truly done this all my life. And every instance of this journey has been unique, and that's saying so much for so many lectures and so many talks I have already given throughout my life. So thank you so much for letting my title as a pet psychic was a little strange, I'm sure, for everybody and you. And I didn't know I was going to be here because I'd just be myself. And you let us do that. You let us be ourselves and grow and share with others. So thank you so much. It's been a magical, absolute magical ride, and loving where we're heading soon.
Thank you so much, AMINAH. And I've shared this with you, and I've shared it publicly. I have learned so much about life and things that I had no idea about. I was completely ignorant to. I've learned from you. So I really thank you for that.
Thank you. And I want everybody to hear what you said. I was ignorant of those topics. I was ignorant of that necessary information. We are all walking around that way. That's why this channel is so, so vital, because there's so much life-changing, happy, glad, and again, life-saving information that we're trying to share free, just so you can better your life. And I hope you come along with this happy train. Because it's all positivity. It's all positivity.
Absolutely. Thank you. Let's get into our topic, which, by the way, 2 years ago, I wouldn't even be having this discussion with you about growing our own food. But things have really shifted. And where I am now, it's interesting because our family member they're growing tomatoes, and they had to leave. So I'm responsible for the tomato plants now. And I thought to myself, it's so nice because there's no pesticides on it. There's nothing. It's literally out on the deck.
Yeah.
The advantages for people who don't know, and they think, I'm just going to go to the grocery store. That's what I've been doing. That's what I always do. What are some advantages for humans to grow their own food so that it can be shared with their pets? Not all of it.
Well,
but
first, first and foremost, you're going to know exactly what the ingredients are. That's the big win. There is no having to guess how many pesticides were used or how it got to you, and they started with it as a green, raw vegetable, fruit, whatever, because it's got to travel so far. So they've got to pick it before I didn't realize until I started eating organic food that's no pesticides, grown naturally, and literally has a shelf life of eat it now, eat it now, because it doesn't have all those preservatives in it. I was totally shocked because I didn't grow up around anybody who knew anything about organic foods until I moved away and went to college and surrounded myself with people that did that type of thing. It tastes magnificent. It's a totally different food choice. And we have so many now to choose from. It is really simple to grow your own fruits and vegetables in your own home, in a good windowsill, in a nice little box. There's so many free and or low cost ways to do that. And we can do that. We can do the simple things. Grow your own tomato, grow your own corn, grow whatever, your own cucumbers, whatever you want to try, you can.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm a distributor for Juice Plus, and there's supplements, and they also have a tower garden that you can put in your home. And I'm looking into that because there's no soil and it takes much less water than what it would take otherwise. So, but I think one of the reasons that people may shy away from it is they might think, well, it's messy. There's a lot of dirt. Maybe this is what I'm thinking. There's insects. But the value of it is profound. Right.
And ironically, I don't know why this little plant decided to sit next to me today, but obviously knew you were going to talk about it. So this is, see how tiny, see how tiny this thing is? Very, very, very tiny. There you go. And I rescued this lovely little, it's in the succulent family, but it's kind of fuzzy and it's really cute. But this is what we're talking about. You can start your seeds in something this small. This sits in my windowsill in my kitchen so that it gets the sun it needs. And it's kind of fuzzy and it's just now growing new pieces. And literally I took an old little vase pot somebody gave us for some flowers once and put her in there. And we have 5 new leaves. So this is as simple as you can make it. And you can grow anything you like, because the seeds are all at any hardware store, any nursery, anywhere that you want to try. Just follow the instructions on how much sun, how much light, how much water they need. So I didn't know why that plant joined me on the table today, but there we go.
There we go. And so I think that's a good point also, that many people are already growing plants. Flowering plants, foliage, whatever it is. So you can just take it a step further to grow your own food. Any idea of what's a good hardy seeds to plant that it doesn't take somebody with a green thumb?
I would always start with your basics as far as vegetables. I would go any of your onions, even try the lettuce is a little bit more. Start with a flowering plant. And make it fun. Sunflowers, absolutely wonderful plants. Wonderful plants. We did it when the kids were in school. We would do the big giant sunflowers and they get to watch it come up. And you can put it on your patio or you can put it in your window for the birds later. Do whatever makes you happy. I wouldn't suggest necessarily a bulb, but they're really simple if you have the dirt and the area to embed them the way they need to be, and they come up once a year. Bulbs are amazing. They come up every year for a little while, not forever. And they are flowers and they can be just so many things. But remember, follow the instructions. What do they need? How much sun? How much dirt? What kind of dirt? All of this is at every hardware store, everywhere. You can get guidance. And then on YouTube, this is where we are. There are so many really talented garden people that are really sharing the nuts and bolts of take this, make this, do this, have this kind of pot. This is what this pot does. All of those expertise are at your fingertips just on YouTube.
So many resources out there for sure, including ours.
Exactly.
And what I'd really love us to discuss now is what kinds of foods that we can grow can we feed to our pets? So I know I have friends and family who feed all kinds of fruits and vegetables, and their dogs love it.
And it's going to be as personal as you and I are. There's going to be people who say, "Oh, I hate carrots," or I absolutely love watermelon. Or when I was a kid, tomatoes were like, "Ooh, that's squishy," and I just found out I'm not eating the right kind of tomatoes. You need to find out little by little by little. What is really, really fun is you'll see a lot of dogs see their family eating, like, let's say, celery. And we love putting peanut butter, or you put almond butter or whatever on the celery. Some people eat it just plain. Please do not do this. Cheese whiz. Never, never, ever, ever, ever do cheese whiz. It's got so many chemicals in it for yourself, much as for the pet. So that is not something I'm recommending on celery or anything. But any of the almond butters, peanut butter, whatever, find out what that is. And we're not talking about a meal at this point. We're talking about either a training tool where you can put a little peanut butter on your finger and have them lick, and then they do something with you. It can be staged in to make sure that there's no allergic reaction for the person and or the animal. Find out what they love. Most animals, dogs specifically, love peanut butter. It is just great, and it's great for training. Cheese whiz, great for training, not a whole food. If you read the ingredients on Cheese Whiz, if you can't spell it or say the ingredients on a product, don't eat it. It's that simple.
There you go. Back to basics.
Right.
Now, we've had on this show, I think it's at least a year ago, a woman who specialized in, I think, organic pet food.
That sounds familiar. We've done a lot of guests, so I apologize for not remembering every single one of them. But that does sound, and there's so many companies and people who are doing real food. And what I mean is they're packaging all the ingredients for you, and or the salient ones, and you like bring the meat, let's say, or you bring the fresh carrots because you need that fresh. But you can get packages now of food ingredients that is not in a can. It doesn't have preservatives, and it is very, very healthy, if you can imagine, because it doesn't have all those preservatives in them or food color number 92. So please look into those. Every animal is going to have a taste just like people. Every animal is going to need time to be convinced that this new food, some will gravitate immediately. Some not so much. It'll have to be a slow process. It's the same thing that vets used to always, and I think they're still doing it, is when you change food, do it slowly. Do it one thing at a time. You want to find out if there's an upset stomach. You want to find out if there's a rash. And if you barrage your animal and or the person with a new food, and then you get a rash, but you tried 3 new foods, then you got to get rid of all 3 and figure out which one. So we always recommend try one thing at a time. If it's medical, if it's pharmaceutical, if it is, if you can, and if it is food, try one thing at a time so you know if there's going to be a reaction.
That's great direction. And it just popped in my mind when my 3 little dogs were alive, if they would have a stomach ache. I don't know if this was even right. We would give them chicken and rice.
Well, the theory in those days was absolutely true. So your chicken is highly nutritious. It's also a clean meat. You're getting something that is chickens, they're eating bugs off the ground and this kind of thing, where your meat animals are doing other things. And it's not the grasses or anything, but it's the process of not only butchering, but how the meat is cured afterwards. Some have salt, some have a preservative, especially if you and I are talking about 25 years ago. We're not living in the chemical world quite as bad as we were in the 60s and 70s. And, pets weren't thought of as members of our family in the strength it is today. So therefore, we care about their food today better and the ingredients in their food than we did in the beginning, where, you throw out, if you're a rancher or a farmer, you butchered a rabbit, you threw it out, the dogs ate it, or they took care of the wildlife around your farm and ate them. So it was much more relaxed, and a lot of chances of a little bit more poisoning. So hopefully we've really curtailed that, because so many of our pets are living indoors with us full time. And a lot of people have chosen them instead of children. And you can see that in the population.
That's very true. One thing that comes to mind, I just was thinking, I stopped eating chicken because of the way they're killed, unless something different but I won't eat a chicken anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if I've ever shared with everybody, but I am on that transition of removing meat from my diet. And I have been for this last year. And I won't say I'm 100%, because there are ingredients that I run into. But being who I am and what I hear, it is really, really, really hard to understand that I have to put up a lot of protections to protect myself from hearing the reality of the death that I'm eating. So I'm not ever going to judge anybody else, but I also know I have health and dietary issues that I have to respect. So it's that balance. And I encourage everybody, do your research, talk to reputable people, look at all these fabulous YouTube shows that we have, and so many people have on their platform. I mean, Dr. Jacalyn, you have some amazing people who are really putting together not only food or lifestyle or choices, and you can jump off of that knowledge and make better choices on how we eat, but also where our dollar goes. Because you and I both know the world will revolve around what we'll pay for.
That's an excellent point. Absolutely. I'm wondering, as we're talking about what we're eating and what we're not eating, what about a vegan diet for your pet, for your dog or cat?
There's a lot of controversy on it. I have a client that has taken her dog to veganism, and that's a path that she took years ago. What I think she's doing now is she has found that she's had to co-mix, because the theory of going clean is what it's considered. And clean meaning it's just a simple diet. And her Bichon Frise absolutely loves it. But she also knows he has skin issues. She adopted him from a breeder to work in her practice. And he came out with 2 million allergies. And so she has to acknowledge those allergies. So why, again, to clean up his diet was her first move. So it's taken years, and they've had to find a little of this, find a little of this, add a little actual meat, and then go to broth, all of those things. But you have to understand, this is a woman with a master's degree in counseling and other things. And she also really studied up on her own animal, because it's her style to say, okay, what can I try? What is healthy? If you know that you'll be that diligent and you'll watch, how's their coat? How's their eyes? Are they happy and sunny, or, do they look a little cloudy today? Are they walking and playing at the right? You can really tell the health of pretty much anyone, but definitely animals, on how they behave. So watch those things as you go through it. Please check with your vet And hopefully you'll have a vet that is also on the same mind track as you, so that you get the information that you're looking for. Because if you're divergent in your goals, how can you get the accurate information for the path you want to be on, as opposed to the path that the person, your professional, is on? So always try to find a professional that has not only the credentials, hopefully the life experience, and is willing to look at something new with you, because there's new information all the time. And that's what I encourage you to do, is keep researching, keep checking. If your animal has dandruff, or it has itchies, or it has whatever kind of medical issues, please check with the vet, and check with the natural homeopath, and check with people who do natural oils. Absolutely, education is never a bad thing. Never.
Thank you, Amina. I think also in reference to the dog's coat or the cat's fur, I know for myself, I've had a number of skin issues that I believe were tied to ulcerative colitis. But when my colon is freaking out, my skin is typically not doing well either. So I think you can tell a lot by your pet's coat.
Yeah, you really can. And you talk to the doctors, they're looking at your eyes. They're not only taking your blood pressure, they're looking at your skin. And that's the same with your pet. You absolutely want to know, when we as pet owners are truly, spending time with our pets and really have that connection and are around them all the time, we know when something is off, right? You would know that with your puppies. Everybody would know if you're paying attention even a little, and you spend any time with your pets, and most pets will not let you make another choice, you'll know when something's up. And that's what I'm saying. Be proactive.
Absolutely. Thank you. So I'm wondering, when we get back onto the subject of growing our own food, and you have shown in the past the space where you are, where your home is. You don't have to have a huge amount of space. You
Right.
showed the little
Right.
succulent that you had. So people who are on a rooftop or in an apartment or in a one room, they can still purchase some seeds, some soil. I guess you need sticks. I don't even know.
No, you can. It depends. I've used sticks to label seeds. Or if you have, like you saw, I had a tiny little vase, or what do I say, pot. You can put a little label on that and just take a piece of tape with some, a name. Or most plants come with instructions and or an envelope where the seeds are. I've always kept the envelope. It's very encouraging to see what the mature plant is going to look like, and where we're growing from this or that. What I didn't explain about my little plant that's joining us today, is that this little guy fell out of his pot. I think it must have been somebody who was either working or something, and I found him in my yard laying there, and I was like, wait a minute, he can regrow. This type of plant can regrow their own roots. So we have all brand new growth on the top. Took me 6 months, but that's this slow of a plant. So you need to know, can you take a branch? Can you take, I don't know, a leaf? Is usually not possible. And just stick it in the dirt and see if roots grow. You can Google any of that. Any of those types of things are available. And there are so many on all those social media platforms and just YouTube, like all of our fabulous professionals and the things we talk about. There are people out there that will help you grow 101, and there's Facebook pages. There's just so much information now with the digital age that you can find how to grow, how to plant a seed. If you've never done it, how exciting. When you first see that little plant come up, I'm excited every time, but I'm kind of quirky like that. Maybe that's you. Maybe you'd rather go to the nursery and buy the seedlings already up. I love those, especially for the vegetables. I don't have to worry about the seeds and did I keep them moist and did I babysit them or whatever. I've already got a plant. So remember, you have a lot of choices. Be kind to yourself and go with what you know you're willing to learn and work on and try, all of those things. Now, what I don't know if a lot of people realize, I don't have a yard anymore. I'm in a condo now and I have been for a few years. One of these days, Dr. Jacalyn, I'll have to take the channel out and show you my stairway, or I'll take a few pictures. I have a stairway up to my front door. And I'm not talking a short stairway. They're at least, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 steps. And on those steps, every one of them, on both sides, are plants. And that's my yard. So what I'm encouraging you guys is don't feel limited. Enjoy whatever space you've got and make do with whatever windowsill you've got. And I encourage you to bring that life in. Why are pets so therapeutic for us humans? Because there's somebody alive in our life, especially if you're living alone. Pets are so wonderful to have, to hug and hold and get their fur all over your face or whatever it is, because there's somebody there who cares if you feed them and cares if you get up in the morning. Plants are the big step down as far as care. You still have to water them and feed them and all of that, but it's life. And what I want to encourage people is to expand their life by helping other lives. And if you get a apple out of one or a cherry out of another or some, broccoli out of the other, yay, that's great coexisting. That's what it was for.
Yes, I love it. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. A thought came to me that I thought I'm going to share my screen for a moment and just show something, because we're talking about growing our own food.
Yeah.
And can you see this
I
website?
can. Grow Your Own Food Tower.
Tower Garden.
Wow.
So there's a place on here that actually shows various places where people are growing their own food.
Yeah.
And I thought that might be kind of cool. So you can grow a garden in your classroom. How cool would that be to teach children? And there's a lot of good information here, but somewhere on here, there is a place where we can actually see where people can grow. Let's see. Okay, so there's all kinds of plants that you can grow, and here are pictures of them. Basil,
there's some spinach and basil, and there's a cucumber and a zucchini.
Look how
and
pretty.
The squash, and the lettuce. It's really that simple, everybody. And if you're like some of us, we kill off the first few plants and go, oh, they might need water every day or every other day or something. And there's water systems you can put in, and you don't need a lot of space.
That's so true. That's what I'm going to show you. So, look at this. Look at the fruits and vegetables that you can grow. Look at this list and the list of herbs, and you can also grow your own flowers.
Yep. Mine are all flowers, and 90% of them were rescued from some nursery somewhere who didn't water them. My joy is bringing them back to life. They're compromised, and I can't bring everybody, but I love seeing the transition of this poor, sad plant. And what you're not seeing is this little guy is one of them, and he's got this one old leaf. This is the one leaf that's left from his tragic beginning, and these are all the brand new ones. And how exciting, and they're fuzzy.
That is exciting.
And so it's like, this does nothing but, say, I can grow something. I don't have to give birth to it. I only have to give it water and a few minerals, and it needs the sun. So, and it's so little, I can move it from window to window. It'll even sit with me for TV, and never ever wants the remote.
Doesn't want to change the channel. And look at this, AMINAH. With this beautiful tower garden, it uses as little as 2% of the water.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and look how beautiful they made them now. When we started these, they were bags that we tied up that were kind of fancy, but waterproof bags that you could put these plants in. And now pots indoors are an art form. They are, and can get very expensive, but they're beautiful because you're not only bringing air and life into your home, and a great balance, but you're bringing a lot of beauty. So how do you walk around your house and say, oh, it's so sad, so sad? No, it's beautiful. And yes, you're going to have to water it and make sure it gets sun. So
those things are important.
And you can choose different things. Let's say you want low maintenance. This is low maintenance. And cactuses, they come in a myriad of beautiful types and fuzzy little ones and all kinds of things. And they really don't need much water. And succulents are the step up or down, whichever way you want to go. They need a little bit more water, but not much. So go with what your lifestyle can handle, so that you do have successes. You do have successes. There's so many beautiful plants. And look at these plant holders. I mean, this one looks like it's for a wedding. Don't you think?
And guess what? They can actually get taller and taller.
Yep.
And they come with lighting. You can purchase lighting. So it looks like an incredible display. That's where I'm trying to find the picture.
Well, and they're really targeting everything from the homeowner to the retail owner. Because if you have a shop and you want people to come in, wouldn't this be really engaging to say, I've never seen anything like that. That's really cool. And it's not necessarily they sell it, but it's inviting because there's life. You've got life. You've got something, especially let's say you're in an indoor mall and you go into a store and you got this thing at the doorway. It's like, man, I'm in there. I want to see what else I got.
Exactly. Imagine if you went into a restaurant and they had this. So, and I've also seen it where people have them, they buy multiples of them, businesses, and they're used as a divider.
Exactly.
Where you have them on your back patio
and you make that privacy fence, type of look is where you line them up. And how beautiful would that be as the privacy fence? Let's say you're in a condo or you're in an apartment or something where your neighbor is literally on your back, patio. It would be a wonderful way to have a private space that still looks really lovely and creates great air. What I also want to encourage people is, if you wonder how our air condition, our air pollution is going, plant a plant outside somewhere, because that's where we all can make a difference. Plants are great natural filters. That's their job, is to be those natural filters. If we keep cutting them down, which we're doing all the time for more whatever things we want or need. So why can't we all plant one thing, two things, wherever you have, whatever you can do? Oh, I don't know how. Well, some of us killed a few plants before we figured it out. I put my hand up first. I didn't come with this knowledge, even though I come from a mother who she built 3 parks and with her hands and a team. But a woman who knows how to do that, man, I had to learn a lot of things. I was great at weeding, Dr. Jacalyn, though. I was really an expert at weeding. And do you want to know why I was an expert at weeding?
I'd love to know why.
Well, my mother and dad bought a home in the desert. And it was a pile of dirt that was 3-story high, just this giant dirt, because it went up to the land behind us in a cul-de-sac. And she created a retaining wall and put in gardens and everything. So for discipline, we got to weed all the planters. I learned to weed really, really well. And I don't know what I did wrong, but I think it was part of being in that family. But I also learned a lot of just being around the plants and, believe it or not, loving them. And you'd think I'd hate them, but the weeds are sucking out the nutrients and the moisture from the plants you want to grow. So you kind of have to have that love-hate relationship with them. But you don't need a lot of space. I just really want to encourage people. You don't need a lot of space to have one plant. Start there and you'll breathe better. I hope. At least that's the theory.
You know what else I think is exciting in addition to what you're sharing? I had looked at purchasing the tower garden, and then I thought to myself, where am I going to put it? Where am I going to put it? And I started looking around on it. And when my family members brought their tomato plants and I was eating the tomatoes, how good they were. And I thought,
absolutely.
There's definitely room for this. And that's kind of a cool thing to do with my mother, to watch the plants grow and then to take off the
Yeah, the dead leaves, you got to
Yeah.
have it pruned. You got to, make sure we're going to give them some fertilizer, because you got to make sure, you're eating what the plant is eating. If we all think about that, and then we, go and eat some questionable things, you realize where that came from, right? You go, maybe I should change that. So when you grow from home, how satisfying is it when you can walk over to your tomato plant, pull that tomato, cut it up for a salad, and eat something that for the first time maybe you're tasting actually a tomato, what it should taste like, without being picked when it was green. So it's still a little bitter, and it has the nutrients, and it's sweet. I did not know tomatoes were sweet. I had no idea, because all the tomatoes I had were shipped to us, because I lived in the desert. So all the food was shipped to our grocery stores. I hated them. They taste like cardboard. They were bland and terrible. And then somebody, when I was older, said, no, 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 no. I grew this in my yard. Taste it. Wow. What a difference. What a difference.
What a difference growing your own food makes, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And we can really take off also the pressure of one more person that needs us, in the public to provide food for. Just think about every plant you plant outdoors also filters the ozone, also helps the planet in soil and air, and all the animals, including us, all do better every plant we plant. Every plant we plant. None of them are wasted. So think about that. How can you improve your health? Go organic from your own vegetables in the backyard, maybe, because it's really simple to do spinach and lettuce and tomatoes and really simple things. Just start there. If you have never ever planted anything, start with one thing, whatever that is, whatever you want to do. And it's really fun if you do like squash and zucchini and watermelon. Oh, you ever watch those things grow? That's really impressive. Oh, little vines everywhere, and you get it every day. Ooh, how big is it now? I don't know if thunking on it means anything. I've seen people do it in commercials, but I'm not really sure what am I sounding for? I don't know. Do you know this? I don't know this.
I don't know either, but I'd like to encourage our audience, if you are growing your own food, we'd like to hear from you. We'd like to have you
We'd love
send us
pictures.
send some pictures in, and we'll post them on our site. So I know there are definitely a lot of people out there who grow their own food. So
right. And any tips you have, because that's how we're going to all do better, is we share. As we share what's worked for us. If you've lived in the city and you had one balcony, or you lived in a city but you had one window that got really great sun, great. Whatever worked for you, because somebody will also have that same issue, or something that will be close enough to it that we can all learn from. And I'd be very excited to see it. Send on your videos on, and I'll create a YouTube feed with it, and we'll get lots out there. But send it on. Would love to see it, and I'd love to put it together for everybody.
there you go. Fantastic. Well, Pet Psychic Amina, we are going to come back with another show we didn't actually get to do yet, which was the one where you actually saved the birds. We didn't get the pictures.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have to do that. Oh, right. You didn't get them. You didn't get any of the pictures?
No, I have the pictures, but we didn't do the show.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah. And what we're talking about is I have unfortunately a very what's a nice word, Dr. Jacalyn? A very obtuse mother bird. I don't even know if I'm using obtuse appropriately. So this is her third year, our second, of her giving birth to her babies on my, I don't know, 25-foot condo on the roof. And she has them over a pipe. I don't know if she thinks they're going to be safe, but every year they fall into our kitchen in the heater above the stove. So we're going to walk you through this year's rescue. Was pretty wonderful. So let me know, Dr. Jacalyn, cut me off at the beginning, and we will cover birdies if I've sent you all the pictures.
You definitely have. Thank you. And I just want to thank you for 124 episodes with me. I feel like we have this little partnership together.
Absolutely.
And the show's evolved from presenting Pet Psychic AMINAH, where we had a number of guests. By the way, we can certainly have guests on this show as well. We had a number of guests. And now you and I have been doing the show ourselves for, a year or so, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But it's just amazing because there's so many people that contribute to my knowledge and your knowledge, and we're very fortunate. And thank you, Dr. Jacalyn, so much. It's a best Friday morning, afternoon ever, is to come here and know that you and I really have our heart-centric work in this show, in these times. I've watched the others, and it's just like, yep, I want to do that. Yeah, we got to do that. And we're just hoping everybody can live a better life with just a little bit more information. And so thank you for letting me be on this journey. It's been so much fun.
Thank you. We were brought together for a reason. So
absolutely.
Your information is here below, but for people who want to reach out, who should contact you and what's the best way?
Best way, and if you are looking for information about your pet, they don't have to be living. We don't have to be in the same room or state. I'm also an empath, so the distance makes no difference. And you can find out everything about me, all my resume fun, all these videos are all linked to bridgingworlds.us, bridgingworlds.us. It's all in one place. And of course, I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And as we close out, I'm going to be seeing you backstage, Pet Psychic AMINAH. But I do want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors who has brought us in part this program. It's Zane Carson Carruth, author of The World's First Tooth Fairy. And she has a brand new show on our channel, which is Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living.
Beautiful.
So let's take let's take a look at her sponsorship, and we'll be back next week. Thanks again, everyone.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.